One.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're watching from. I hope you're having an amazing day. You're at Diamond Coat. We're at Countertop Epoxy. You're on our live channel. We're on our way to Florida. We're flying out this week to come see you guys. I'm doing a wood grain pattern right now. Yes, I'm doing it in a casting piece that I've poured like 16 freaking times. But I like that. I'm gonna start out with a base of copper just to kind of get, and yeah, I have some crystals and stuff in here, so is this gonna be wonky? Hell yeah it is, but that's what we do here. So just having fun with y'all. That is right. How is everybody today? Where are you guys watching from? Please hit that follow button. We are almost to 500,000 followers, which I never thought our podunk booties would be at 500K. So I probably need, do I need a, ooh, I got it right there, right yonder. I prefer a foam roller, guys. Foam rollers are the only true lint-free rollers. Thank you for the love, guys. You guys have no clue how much, when you guys support our channel with literally you hit the like button or follow button, it's a way bigger deal than y'all think. I don't know, it helps our channel trend. And little companies like us, we can't afford the, you know, I looked up what Home Depot was spending to advertise against people like us on epoxy, and it was like they had up to $480,000 a month spend budget, ad spend budget. Well, that's ridiculous. No quality small people, and we're like way higher quality than Home Depot. So, but you know what? That's why we go on TikTok and we just show you guys who we are. We're on YouTube. We got Romania. God bless you guys in Romania. I hope you're having a good day today from Romania. Thank you for being here. Now that I cough in your guys' ear. Okay, starting out with that creamy bass. It's all about that bass, no treble. No. The workshop in Florida is going to be a banging workshop where we're going to be doing some really high-end floors. And it's actually going to be in a garage, which isn't the typical thing we train in just a garage often, but I think this upcoming workshop is going to be awesome because we're able to fill fractures, expansion joints, deal with moisture, stabilize the slab, and then we're going to be pouring a very decorative pour. We're going to be running some Cove base. We're going to go over all our systems in the Florida shop. I'm a big fan of hands-on. No, we're going to do a wood grain with some colors here. So this is just kind of our, if you're pouring countertop, and you can pour this just right on top of a countertop. You don't need to have edges or form or anything like this. You can do this exact thing, very easy. Run your base out, really simple. Pick your colors you want to pour on top, and we might do a dirty pour at the end. We'll see if we have enough product sitting in here that looks pretty. Dude, Papo, badass. No, Papo, you wouldn't want to use some cheap product from Lowe's or Home Depot. Just call our office. We have very good price product, but it's going to hold up a lot better. It has better surface tension. It's not going to flow off your edges. Yeah, just call our office. They'll go over everything with you. Hey, you're okay. You better put shoes on, girlie. Gotta get shoes on, little girl. My little girl's here today with me. And she came walking in my dirty shop without shoes on, but she'll be sure to be glittery socks for life. We're gonna do a wood grain pattern here, guys, and this is using Countertop Epoxy. We're gonna do something similar to this in the Florida class in a week. Sorry, I hope it felt like an elephant there. Blowing my nose. Ooh, girl. Okay. Oh, go grab some medium gloves in the black bucket over there outside the door. You can come and help me, sweetie. My little papaya. This right here has the hardest Shore D rating, which is the actual strength testing for like impact resistance, like if you were to gouge it, that you'll ever find. So this test's incredibly high. And it's also pretty damn healthy too, so. You put those on. Hey, Yuri. Good to see you, Yuri. God bless you, man. Good having you on here. Everybody, if you want some awesome work done, you got to check out his channel and check out what he does.
Always finishing AC, says I know a guy who experiments with epoxy and poly.
We're gonna pour this out and just linear lines all the way back and forth and try to keep them pretty straight. Yep, yep. Yeah, yeah. Good job, girl. Good job. Just keep going back and forth. Absolutely perfect.
What's the name of the hardest epoxy?
Countertop Epoxy. So definitely call us up, and it's a very good priced epoxy, extremely clear and very, very hard. And it also has really good surface tension. I have never seen a person use our product that wasn't very surprised and happy about the results. Same thing, sweetie beauty. Is that fun? Huh?
How do you end the epoxy at doorways?
At doorways, there's a lot of ways to do a transition. I might be able to show you guys I think the Octagon room still has one taped in there that we haven't removed yet, so we'll show you in a second. I think I have one that I'll show you, a doorway that we taped. So I leave a lot of stuff like that in my shop. You'd be pouring the drinks and I just hand them to you. I'm so blessed to have such a sweet little girl. She's my best friend because she does everything with me. If you guys have a little girl and you're not spending time with her, you're wrong. I don't think kids need fancy crap. They just need time. You getting something? Did you eat something? Are you eating your hair? Oh, the steak? You still have steak in your mouth? I cooked them steak at the office here today.
Is this like quartz kind of made?
No, this is not quite like quartz. Quartz has a lot of aggregate in it as well.
Yuri said we're starting a new floor project Wednesday. I'll send pictures.
Whoa. Yes, Yuri, I want to see that. Everybody, if you really need something, the Colorado area, you gotta check out his page and give him a call. So he does some very professional work and he has a really good crew. There you are, sweetheart. Blue. Okay, you're not, wait till we actually make the wood grain, guys. Y'all will like it quite a bit more, I think.
I went crazy with the colors, huh?
I like it. I love that. Doing a dang good job. Moving too quick? You know what? I think she's moving just right, but I do love the thoughts. But we're gonna totally stripe this in a second. So what you see right here is not what you're gonna get at all. So we're just trying to pour this out. And a lot of my processes that I try to teach too, we'll do some pretty cool looking wood graining and different things, but I like to show you guys how you can do it on a large scale, because it's one thing to do a small sample and pour a bunch of product out in one small little sample size area and really work it for 2 hours. It's another to be on an actual job site and have 200 square feet of countertops, and you want them all to match, and you want to have a simple process to make that work, and that's what we kind of try to go over. So a lot of times we're not trying to pour the epoxy exactly how it's going to end up. If anybody wants a stack of cups for free, you can come pick them up from my office. So yeah. No, this is actually a very good, well-priced product. I mean, you get what you pay for, but it's the hardest, strongest, clearest product you'll ever find in the world. And here we are, guys. And yes, I am just using my hands. I've done this so many different ways, and recently, I will say, my very favorite way that I've done this, might be weird, but a wood grain, is with my fingers. So that extra, I'm gonna let you pour it in a second, sweetheart. Say what?
About the odor.
This has zero odor whatsoever. That's the epoxy itself has zero odor.
Super informative lives.
Hamilton Hayes, God bless you, man. Thanks for being on our live today. Thank you so much. Okay. We never, ever, ever use spray paint for any reason, because it'll cause all kinds of issues it'll cause all kinds of issues in the epoxy. So this is not actually happening. Just pretend I didn't do that. For the rest of the live, you guys are going to be like, he did not do that. If anybody tunes in later and says, is that spray paint? You guys are going to say, absolutely not. Mind your own damn business.
Is this a table? What is this?
You know what? This is probably just something. We make a lot of things because we want to make sure our dumpster doesn't float away. So we have to throw a lot of stuff in it to make sure it's heavy. So maybe that's exactly what this will be. This thickness and in a 70-degree room like this will cure out overnight. So within 12 hours, you'd be able to touch it. And very easily the next day set light things on it, and in probably 48 hours, you'd be able to use it heavily. Okay.
Can you use this product to pour a clear glass over heated concrete flooring?
You could, definitely could use this as a clear glass over concrete flooring, but we have a much better viscosity product we use just for that, and it's actually called Diamond Gloss. So call our office up and we will hook you up with a really good flooring epoxy, and it has better stuff called like air release and different attributes in it. So here we are, so you're gonna start down here and you're just gonna let all this product.
Yes, love watching y'all. What issues does spray paint cause?
Spray paint, not only does it usually float to the surface as satinating chalk, it can create yellowing from the overspray. Of course, it's not food safe. Dump it all. Dump it all the way. Yeah.
Wait,
Oh, and you can just go that way. You're doing perfect. Thank you, Tara. We love you. Hope you're having an awesome day today, Tara. Check out our classes, guys. We're getting ready. We're going to be in Florida next week, then we're going to be in North Carolina, then we're going to be back here. We have some really big floors. One thing we're doing as a company now is every one of my classes is going to have a floor in it for the foreseeable future, and every one of my classes is going to have hands-on. So if we're doing a countertop, we're going to do a countertop. I want every single person that's in one of my classes to actually go on real job sites. So I've just been doing that lately with some of the classes, and it's amazing to see the comfort level of students go through the roof when they actually are in a real house, and especially when they're allowed to make a few mistakes. They don't have to be perfect, and we can just fix whatever little bumbles we make. So, Thank you, girl.
So powders are better to use than spray paint.
Powders are better to use than spray paint. You're the best part of my day. I love you. Have a good day. She's so cool when she comes and helps. Michelle, come to a class and we'll do it together. It's so important, I do believe, especially if you really want to get good at this. There's a lot of like knowledge, but simple knowledge to be had. But man, you can waste a lot of money, mess up a lot of projects when people aren't actually teaching you how to do this. And kind of my passion is on the attribute of showing people real jobs. Is I see so many of these classes out there where somebody just kind of finger paints and everybody watches him and he has fun, but there's no real hands-on for the students, and I don't see how anybody's going to learn without hands-on training. So one thing I really push is that you have to mix epoxy yourself, pour it yourself, spread it yourself, add the accents yourself, get all the proper color ratio, learn how to measure a job, learn how to bid a job, how to price a job. I just think all those little details are so important. I mean, it's one thing to go and watch somebody kind of finger paint and have fun with epoxy, but it's totally different to be able to ask real world questions, see real actual problems happen. So the Florida workshop is the 26th, 7th, and 8th, and 9th, 26th to the 29th in Vero Beach, Florida. So I definitely look forward to seeing you guys there. Look forward to seeing each and every one of you all in Vero Beach. It's going to be fun too. I've been in cold Colorado, so now this is just 99% isopropyl alcohol. I'm using it because I'm not going to torch it any longer, but I want there to be alcohol sitting on the surface here, like a nice even spray, so that any little air bubbles that pop to the surface after I walk away will hit that alcohol, and it'll really help self-level and just make a really clean, wispy, like WoodGrain. So
I learned a lot from you. I'm putting 4 pieces in an art gallery.
what? What a badass. Who is that that's putting that?
Link.
What is this?
Exerted link.
Exerted link. I hope you share with us where this art gallery is, and everybody else check it out and go support them, because that's amazing. I love watching anybody just learn. If you are learning, you're amazing.
I use a heat gun first to push my colors around, and what a difference. Then heat it with
I have a little bit of a thought on heat guns, and we use heat guns, but I'll just explain to you one reason I don't always use heat guns in the same way a lot of people do is a heat gun will push your colors. So I like to, in some instances, especially a wood graining, like what we're doing right now, it's important to me, just in my own opinion, to be able to work as much of the pattern in and let it kind of set, because this product has a really thick viscosity to it. And then after I get done kind of working in whatever colors I want to and work on the pattern, I can torch it. And then instead of a heat gun where it heats it up, pops the bubbles, and pushes your pattern around, it's pretty effective at just leaving your pattern exactly how you had it and popping the air bubbles so you just get glass. So try, if you have only used a heat gun, try a torch someday. So, and if you've only used a torch, try a heat gun one day.
What epoxy do we use?
This is Countertop Epoxy, guys. Thank you for being on our channel.
If I wasn't in North Idaho, I'd come to you.
Where in North Idaho? I was born up in St. Mary's, North Idaho. So I love that place. Made it up to Bonner's Ferry last year too. What a gorgeous place up there. And we have people from Idaho all the time. There's a lot of alcohol down here, guys, and I am trying to mix this in. And the reason being is, then we're gonna sand it, and you're gonna get a very scraped wood grain pattern. Yes, sweetie?
Why is it liquidy?
I put a lot of alcohol in here, sweetheart.
Where in... Oh, she's talking to someone else in the comments. Will you ever come to Louisiana?
Louisiana, I've worked and taught some private classes in Louisiana. I think I was just outside of West Monroe. So,
What brand do you use, sir?
this is Countertop Epoxy, guys, and you're on our channel. Thank you so much. Please hit that follow button, the subscribe button. I'm gonna let this settle, let some of this alcohol evaporate out of here, and it's gonna leave a beautiful wispy wood grain. But first, I'm gonna go over here and sand. I've been kind of having fun trying to show guys how you can sand and seal wood. You should put shoes on, sweetie pea. You should put shoes on. My little girl likes to walk around without shoes on in the shop, apparently. I guess you're okay. You're gonna have a what's that?
Jake Paul's dad.
Jake Paul's dad? Is Jake Paul's dad a jerk? I don't know. I hope that's a good dad. I don't know, they said I'm like Jake Paul's dad, so I hope that's a good thing. All right, so I'm starting out with a 220 grit, and this is just to cut, guys. I'm just cutting into this wood. Now this is a small cutting board I just found in here. I was kind of playing around with it, and I thought I'd show you guys. First of all, I start out with a firm backing pad that's totally flat, and I'm just cutting excess material off. And one way you can see that you haven't gone kind of far enough down on your kind of profiling passes is you see all the little shiny spots. So I want to be able to cut through this in a pretty organized manner, and I want to leave my sander very flat until I get through it. And then I can bump up and grit. But if I was to step up to a finer grit, the only thing that would happen is as this thing polished out, all these little lines that you can see that are little low spots, they'd stay a different gloss level, and they'd be the only ripples in a perfectly smooth top. So we can polish this all the way up to like a piece of marble, like perfect mirror. Or we could leave it deglossed and have more of a satin cutting board or whatever you guys would want. If you notice, one thing is I really don't have a lot of epoxy on top of the wood. As weird as that sounds, I scraped most of it off. You do see some air bubbles on here, but most of that's just from sealing this and rolling it back and forth and working it in. But I really want to see just how sealed I can get this piece to be. So, and polished. I love when you have no extra epoxy on the surface and it looks like a piece of petrified wood. So we'll see what we can do for you here. As soon as I step up to a finer grit, that's when you're really going to see. Okay. I'm going to be Googling Jake Paul's dad later today. See if that guy's a jerk. I do torch the epoxy. It really helps self-level it, pop air bubbles, help it self-level. All right, now we'll move back to a little better of a sander, my Fest tool, which is a bit more of a dust-free system. But sometimes that small DeWalt with just a more aggressive, like a 220 grit, is pretty damn like effective at just getting the initial cut done. So for what it's worth, I'm gonna start seeing if I can actually polish this piece out quickly without wasting all your guys' time. And
Y'all just look like you're a much better person than Dad.
oh, thank you guys. God bless you, whoever said that.
About, you know, Jake Paul's dad.
Oh, right, Jake Paul's dad. Well, I will try. I always have to try to be a better dad. It's the most important job in the world. Okay, look at this. This is just 320, but it's with a fest tool. So I have a really firm, flat backing pad on here. So it'll much more accurately profile. And if you notice, I'm leaving the sander very flat the whole time. It can be tempting to really tip it up and work an area a little bit more aggressively than you want to. The only downside to that is you're going to end up with a wavy, ripply surface. So, and now I haven't cut this down to exact size or anything or finished any detail. It's just a rough chunk right now. Like I say, this is 320. You really want to be careful. I mean, you have that 220. That's a very deep cut. You're going to have a lot of like scrapes from the sand because there's only 220 approximate pieces of particles per square inch. So the lower the number, the more coarse the pad. The higher the number, the finer the pad. So we started at 220. This is 320. I'm going to go to, I think I'm going to try to jump up a bit and see if I can cut with an 800 now for a minute. And that's a bit of a jump, but with epoxy and wood, you can sometimes do that. And these 800 grit pads have really good abrasives on them, so they're pretty effective at cutting more than a lot of other pads. Sometimes just the pad itself makes all the difference in the world, so on how it cuts. You'll be using a 800 grit pad that won't cut at all, and you'll switch out to a different one, and all of a sudden it cuts better than anything you've ever used. What's that? You know what? I do appreciate the health aspects. I am using a HEPA vac. I know I just used a pad without holes in it, but this actually is a fest tool with a HEPA vac, so technically, as long as I'm using the right paper, which I don't always, you shouldn't have to wear a mask, so. What you guys doing?
Debbie said I just ordered a new sander. I'm excited.
What, Debbie? New sander, if that's what you call it. I'm excited to hear what you think of it, so. Now that you get busy.
How do we repair living room end table that is from Ashley's?
A living room end table from Ashley's. You know what? Measure out the square footage, figure about 15 square feet per gallon, and buy yourself 2 gallons of countertop epoxy and whatever colors you want, and pour it over the top, and it'll fix that Ashley's crap furniture. No, I'm sure it's a beautiful piece. So, what are you guys doing? You have questions? Huh? No, you're good. Hang out. I have all my kids here now. There's 3 of them in here, and they're all badasses, so they're all helping me today. Okay, now this is a foam-backed 1,000 grit pad. If you notice, it's really cleaning the piece. It's getting a lot smoother than the last polish. And then I'm going to go from here to a 2,000, 2,000 to 3,000, 3,000 to 5,000. We could go all the way up to 7 if we wanted to. And I'm only doing one side just to kind of show you guys what we can get out of this. It's really fun to actually polish this. You know what? I have the Fest Tool drywall sanding head, but remember too, like Porter Cable, DeWalt, a lot of companies are coming out and making some pretty good sanding equipment for drywall sanding, and it's very effective in taking, like with the vacuum. I've took popcorn sealing with my Fest Tool drywall head, and it's 12 inch or whatever that is, 10 or 12, and you can vacuum it right to the ceiling, and it's like the cleanest, totally flat ceiling I've ever seen. So that's one way. That's what I usually recommend. And remember, whenever you're doing stuff like that, you're sanding the highs, filling the lows, you know, so you're not necessarily trying to sand off all that texture. You're just gonna sand off the high spots on it. And I know this is an epoxy class, but just remember that you want to sand off the highs, and then you can come back with that same plaster or texture and just fill your lows in. It'll be much easier than trying to remove the entire coating just to kind of come back the next day.
What epoxy would I use for my dining room table? I've had it for 10 years.
This right here, this is the Countertop, and that is the hardest product. That's exactly what you'd want to use, is the Countertop Epoxy. Really watch your timing and your temperature, your mix, and how warm your room is, and you're going to have an amazing product when you're done. Right? You'll have a very hard finish. So, okay, that was 2,000. Now we're going to go to 3. So pretty shiny, pretty smooth. I am taking, this is sealed wood, but there's actually no epoxy like on top of the surface. It's just sealed where I soaked it all into the wood. Then I sanded all the excess, like the shellacked clear coat, completely off of this piece. And I'm just polishing it. So this is gonna be like, this is absolutely smooth, like a piece of petrified wood right now. And it's just something fun. I love sealing wood with epoxy, but sometimes I like to leave a lot shinier of a look than you get when you just pour epoxy on the top surface. Not to mention, this is a great way to deal with all your air bubbles. And remember, as you get to these finer cuts, you can put some pressure on this and a little bit of time, and really just remember, you're trying to really work this whole piece and get an even look. You're not trying to just get across it. You're not spray painting a train or something like that. So don't be your average man and work too fast and impatiently like I do. So it's probably my biggest downfall, is lack of patience. Okay, this is 5,000. And again, foam back pad, so very, very, very smooth right here. The 5,000 grit polish is extremely smooth. And then I'm going to clean it. We'll wipe it down and we'll see what we actually have with no dust on it or anything. I'm going to grab me a paper towel and the clear alcohol. That's the bottle of spray alcohol up on the table. Yep, right there. And then one of the rags. Thank you, sweetheart. So for what it's worth, this was a really rough, nasty, just like this earlier, the other side. And we sanded it down, and here you are. Good job, papaya. And now I most likely would either rub a wax into this, or we have a product called Diamond Shield that I would use. Good job, girl. Good job. And that it would keep an amazing, perfect shine. And like I say, you can go all the way up to 7,000, and it'll be shinier than a piece of granite. But that is so smooth, it's unbelievable how actual smooth this piece is. So just a fun, different thought process towards epoxy on wood. I see a lot of people, they'll build a big bar, they spend a lot of time and money on it, and then they just pour a big, like just gallons, 15 gallons of epoxy on it, and it makes it clear and it's pretty. But sometimes just a little different, a few different techniques can really make something way more elegant. So let's see, I'm gonna see if this is scrapable.
I'm trying to take the color.
There we go. Good job, girl.
Did you put the rocks in there? What is that black stuff?
I did put rocks in this, sweetie.
Oh.
Rocks, that's the last one. We didn't tell these people there's rocks in it because that's just a yesterday's sample that we did away with.
Oh, this is a thing where you
Just keep pouring. And like I say, guys, we're not going for the look on top. We're going for the mix of like 7 colors underneath, so that when you sand it, you expose like a wood grain. So some of these are kind of a process, but man, if you just are patient, do them quickly, and just move on to the next step the next day, you're gonna have a really fun piece. So, yes, sweetie. Ooh, yeah. Good job. Watch your hair, girl. And your arm. clean ahead of you. So you don't accidentally touch it. Now it's even way more perfect. There's no way it would have looked as good with just my weird little pattern. All right, that's perfect. Let me see that. We'll finish it up just like this. We'll go down here. Thank you guys so much for joining our live. I hope you guys come and join us in a class soon. And like I say, we're going to see quite a few of you guys out in Vero Beach, Florida, and in North Carolina, and of course right back here in Grand Junction, Colorado. So can't wait to see you guys in the class out there next week. And like I say, we still have a few spots. We don't have a lot of spots. That's the alcohol, of course. Like I say, you never know what you get until you torch. And with this one, and most wood grain patterns, you really don't know what you get until you don't really know what you get until you sand it the next day. And then all these wood grains will get very just like nestic in there, and they'll be very beautiful the way they'll settle. It'll even look cool without sanding. So we'll show you both ways. So thank you guys so much for joining our live today. I hope you guys liked what you saw. Hit the follow button, subscribe button, whatever helps you guys. Check out the link in the bio if you're interested in learning more about what we do here or classes. And I hope to see you guys next week in Florida. So.